party, we like to party, party, party all night long. Party, party, we like to party, 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 never go home. Party, party, we like to party, party, party all night long. Party, party, we like to party, 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 never go home.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to episode 51 of the Ball Talk Pod. Here to recap the biggest win in Thunder franchise history. That's right, the Thunder have taken Game 4 of the NBA Finals by a score of 111-104 in a game that I think a lot of people are wishing they could unsend some text messages and take back some words they said throughout the course of this, especially the first three quarters of that game. I mean, what a freaking win. I mean, just a franchise-changing win, potentially, is what we witnessed tonight. Chris, you were at Paycom Center again tonight to watch it with all of Loud City. How we feeling?
I feel great right now. Obviously, we won, so that makes you feel a little better.
How'd you feel 2 hours ago?
Feel 2 hours ago is a little different. So I went to Game 4 for the Wolves, and it felt a little bit more like, it was a little more fun. We were making a lot of shots.
We were up 2-1.
We were up 2-1, so it was a lot more lighthearted. The energy in Paycom today was tense. It was a good tense. Everyone knew that this was a really important game. Everyone was locked in to the extreme. And until we started, making shots and tied the game, did the energy in the building kind of light up. And it was fun towards the end. Man, what a win. Ben, how was it watching it from your point of view?
I mean, the first three quarters, man, it just was like I texted you, I texted other people, talked to the people I was with, was like, I don't recognize this team. Like it just everything was so hard, and the Pacers were getting every open look they wanted. We were fighting for a contested jump shot. That was the best shot we could find. And it just was like nothing is going our way. And it kept going back to, it felt like, there's a team every year, and they talk about this, and especially football and everything. It's a lot of times it's just that team that catches lightning in the bottle at the right time.
Right.
And it just tonight was the Pacers, how did we even get one game from them? Because that's how well they were playing. The team as a whole hit 3 threes in a game tonight. They only took 16.
The last time that happened was in 2013.
2010.
No, the last time a team went 3 of 16 from 3 was 2013 in the finals, and it was the Oklahoma City Thunder. And we lost the game to the Heat. The last time a team had won an NBA Finals game was 2010, the Boston Celtics.
What it is. Yeah.
Yeah. But
I mean, just, man.
That's not a game you should win.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and it's it's give and take. We said that about Game 3 in the Pacers. You read through the stats, and it felt like that was a game the Pacers shouldn't have won.
Or Game 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's it's just bonkers to sit here and think that this Thunder team has come up against some of the toughest challenge. I think they've had a really tough run to the finals. Someone mentioned on the radio, it was a hard fought sweep. Though we did sweep the Grizzlies, it felt like every game was pretty close to the end. We had one big blowout.
Game 1 and 2 were pretty blowout, but everything in Memphis was hard.
But it was a hard fought, and then you get to Denver, and that series happens, and you learn so much about this team. You learn about how to finish a game. You learn about how to play a player who is by many thought to be unguardable. Right? You learn how to win in that series, and then you go and apply those to play Ant-Man, and you shut him down, right? So you've learned all these lessons, and this team just continues to show us why they've been so great in the regular season. The defense, the shot making from Shea tonight, it just it shouldn't surprise me, but it just surprises me after we watch 3 quarters of miserable basketball for a Thunder fan to watch.
It felt like in the fourth quarter that they found themselves again. And Breek says it in every game and group text I've ever talked to him about was it starts on the defensive end. And it was right. Like, the Pacers started missing shots a little bit. They went 0 of 8 from 3 in the fourth. So that was massive. We outshot them from 3 in the fourth.
That's my favorite stat. That's my favorite stat. We made more fourth quarter 3-pointers than them.
It's the first time we've outscored them in a fourth quarter, I think, this series. I mean, they've had our number in the fourth. And it just, we were texting about it, and I texted you. It felt so similar to the Dallas series game 4 last year that Oklahoma City pulled out a tight win that felt like they had no business being in the game, where the Thunder were within 8 to 10 for the majority of the game. And it just felt like, we've talked about it on the other side where the Thunder are up 8 to 10. It's what happened in game 1 against the Pacers. If you let a team hang at 8 to 10, they're still in the game. Regardless of momentum swings and things like that, they're 3 or 4 possessions away. And with how quick paced the NBA is now, that's a minute of basketball from tying or taking the lead. And last year in Dallas, Shea put probably his best shot making game of his career out that night. Just willed that team. He was shooting shots like behind the backboard, just an insane performance. And then tonight, your MVP goes and scores 15 of the last 16 points for this team. A lot at the free throw line, but anyone that wants to call him a free throw merchant now, he had 2 free throws going into the fourth quarter. He ended up with 10, most of them being
he shot
like
2
as they were closing out.
He shot 2 intentional free throws, so that knocks it down to 8 total, 6 in the fourth.
Well, the flagrant. Yeah, it was after the flagrant.
That's what I'm saying. He shot both of those.
Yeah.
And then the other 6 were just like, I think they fouled him once to put him on the line, and then, Benedict Mathurin, those 2.
Thunder need to send him a gift basket after tonight.
He lost him the game. Missed 3 free throws, 3 in a row, and then 2 out of bounds with the ball not in bounds fouls.
Which is 2 shots in ball for the other team. A game after, you say that, and so many people have talked about for the Pacers, Mathurin is such a wild card for them. When he plays well, they're super tough to beat, which we saw in game 3 with 27 points off the bench. And then tonight, as you just mentioned, that stretch was like as soon as like that first one happened with the away from the play foul where he fouled, I think it was Dub. He like grabbed Dub's arm when Caruso was trying to pass it in. It almost was like my nerves like relaxed. Like it was like, oh no, the voodoo isn't here tonight. And it wasn't because of Ben.
They panned to Rick Carlisle after that, and he was obviously you're going to fight for your guys, but like he was like, that's nothing. And he was like, but obviously you can't like hold on to his arm as he's running out
in front of the ref.
In front of the ref, it doesn't. I get that you're like fighting for your guys, but like it's an easy call for the ref.
Carlisle absolutely should have argued it from just the context of he's the head coach for the team.
Right.
But if he was on the other side or tomorrow looking back on it, he's going to look at Mathurin and be like, what the heck, dude?
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Let him get the ball in. They're only up. What were we up at that point?
2.
5 points. We were up 2 when he did the first one.
I think the first one was 2.
They're up 2 points. You're going to let him get the ball in. Play good defense. We've played good defense on this team. Every shot they've had has been a tough shot.
Or we just would turn it over. Like the turnovers reared their head tonight too. I mean, the thing that was so hard during that third quarter, Pacers were going on a run. Again, we were obviously staying within striking distance because that's what we were the whole game pretty much. But they, God, my dog just scratched at the door, so I don't even know where I was going.
Okay.
What was I talking about?
It was just that they let us around. Every quarter, it felt like, wow, I can't believe we're only down 2. Wow, I can't believe we're only down 3. And then I turned to my wife at the Paycom, and I was like, it feels like a gift to be down 7 after that
For sure.
third quarter. It was just like you talked about, we just like kept hanging around. And in the NBA, you can't do that because that's 2 possessions. That's 50 seconds.
With the MVP on the other side. I remember what I was going to say. In that like third quarter, the Pacers were hitting shots, keeping us at bay. And then you look at our turnovers, and one of them was like an 8-second violation. and
Yeah.
like stuff that just cannot happen. We had a shot clock violation out of a timeout, which should never happen. Like what we were doing was so like we were out of sorts. And when you got on Twitter at that time, everyone was like crowning the Pacers champions and doing so in a way of like, I wasn't blaming them because they had us completely out of sorts. Like I said earlier, it felt like I was not watching the team that we had watched when 68 regular season games, when 80 games before getting into the finals, which is very rare. All-time net rating, you know, all blowout wins. If you would have told me that the teams had switched sides, I would have believed you because of how bad the Pacers had been making the Thunder look. And again, they kept making these little mistakes, and the Thunder hung around just enough. They stopped hitting as many. Obviously, as we talked about, they didn't hit any threes in the fourth. I thought Chet was massive defensively in the fourth quarter. I read a stat. He was 0 of 4 field goals against when he was the primary defender in the last 2 minutes of that game.
On guards trying to like break him down.
Mm-hmm.
And the
On
guards
a night where he turned his ankle twice and got a knee to the shin.
I can't believe those guards. They all settled for step back threes. Like, is that
that's
the
their
best
magic though? That's the I agree with you, but they've hit those shots all postseason.
Well, that's the funny thing because in game one, you see that Miles Turner hit a step back, Andrew Nembhard hit a step back. Today, Miles Turner missed his step back. Halliburton missed 2 step backs.
Shea blocked one, yeah,
and then Dort. There was just like some rebounding things that were like needed to clean up on stuff like that, but it ended up not biting us in the ass. So
it almost did. I mean, Shea said it in the post game. He knew what, like, obviously we've seen in the NBA 3-1 isn't impossible to come back from, but it's dang near.
Much easier to be
impossible.
2-2
with home court. You steal back home court.
Series restarts. You know how they say series doesn't start until the
visiting
opposing
team wins.
Well, now you restart the series and you have home court advantage again, like you said.
Yep.
It feels really good. I mean, just an all-time victory. And I can't remember if I said this earlier, but this is the farthest any Thunder team has ever made it in the NBA series, in the NBA Finals.
Mm-hmm. We only won one game in 2012.
Yeah,
it's the closest the Thunder have ever been to a championship.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, we can talk about it a little bit. We have to play better if we want to win 2 more games. Bottom line. But you stole this one. You think they can play better, obviously, with 2 games at home. But you can't play that same way for the next 2 to 3 games and expect to even win 1 game.
No.
Because tonight felt like a gift. You felt like you gifted Indiana game 1, so you're even there. You got to come home Monday night at Paycom Center ready to freaking go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you better hit more than 3 threes. I can tell you that. You better take care of the ball. I mean, rebounding, you mentioned like the Dort rebound where we fouled him. I think Nesmith hit 1 of 2 after it. I don't blame him for that because Shea blocked the ball.
Right. No, I get it. It's just like it felt like some of those things like that.
Everything was bouncing their way.
That play specifically, and then later on, we were up at this point, but Mathurin goes to the line because Chet was tripped and was going for a ball, and they kind of ran into each other.
Yeah.
So there's just some stuff that felt like it was going their way. You said that like the first 2 quarters felt terrible. I thought the first 2 quarters were like good basketball. I felt like we were getting downhill a lot, trying to, impose our will at the rim. And they were making shots, and it felt very back and forth. They would go up and get up, 5 or 6, and then we would claw back in it. It wasn't until the third quarter did I not recognize this team.
That's fair. I mean? That's fair.
It was good basketball the first 2 quarters. It was just a back and forth game. They were making a lot of tough buckets. We were making tough buckets. Our offensive process seemed fine. I thought that, the threes that we shot in the first half, they were in and out. I felt like they were down most of the way and they just kind of popped out. Like, I thought the process was much better than game 3. So I wasn't mad about that. It wasn't until the third quarter where things kind of felt like the car
Got off the road.
Fell off a cliff.
Yeah. And dropped to the depths of the ocean.
And wasn't going to be able to be recovered, right? You felt like the car was in the Mariana Trench, never to be seen again, deeper than the Titanic.
You started thinking, like, what's Paycom going to look like game 5 if we're down 3-1? Like, obviously, it would be crazy still. It's the finals game. But, like, the risk of losing the finals on your home court in that manner starts creeping into your brain. And you're like, please, God, do not let this happen. I think one person that should be shouted out for, I think he was the main reason we were in the game in the first half, was Jalen Williams. Like, I think he is good. A budding superstar right now. He had 27 tonight, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. We only had 11 assists as a team, which is just brutal, just terrible. We can talk about that too. I mean, we just it feels like we go too ISO against this team and hunt mismatches, but they're doing a good job of switching. But what Dub did, especially in that, I think he had like 12 or 14 in the first quarter. He had he was 6 of 6 from the free throw line. He just played with such force in a manner that, like, Shea, you could tell, like, wasn't in it yet. And with all the crap that he's been given, and obviously he hasn't played great in some of these games, like game 1 especially, he brought it tonight. Yeah. He was 11-11 from the free throw line tonight.
Well, I mean, we talked about game 4 in Dallas, where Shea was the singular being who willed us to a win. Tonight, it was like you had Shea and J-Dub. Finally, we had somebody, and Caruso with 20 points. Finally, it felt like we had somebody in the train with Shea, shoveling coal, getting this engine to start and finish this game. So that's a really positive sign. J-Dub played awesome. You're totally right.
Yeah.
Another person, I really love Kenrich Williams' minutes when he comes in.
I think he's going to play a lot the rest of the series.
He feels like a tempo changer. He feels
by a lot. He played 11 minutes tonight. I could see him getting about 11 minutes a game the rest of the series,
which is fine. I feel like his minutes are really impactful. He defends really well, and I feel like he opens up the floor a lot. Good screener, can hit a 3, but hasn't hit one yet.
Yeah, but when he does, it'll be loud. Like it'll feel like a momentum swing. Caruso had his second 20-point game in the playoff of his career. I mean, it's kind of crazy, this point distribution. You had Dub with 27, Chet with 14, Shea with 35, a very quiet 35, I might add. Just an all-timer from Shea, and Caruso with 20. And then you had Lou had 6, Hart had 2, Wiggs had a point, Kaysen had 2 points, and Kenrich had 4. That is your scoring for the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight. It was so top-heavy, very opposite from what you see with the Pacers, where they had 5 players in double figures, 3 others with 8 points. I mean, it's just like you talk about, it's one of the things that this Pacers team has brought to the series that I think people viewed as a strength for the Thunder that actually might lean towards the Pacers. And it's their depth. They have several guys that can go get 8 to 10 points, which, tonight, game 3 was the first time in this series they had a guy score 20 points. They had one guy tonight score 20. It was Siakam. Halliburton had 18. But it's like they have 5 to 6 guys that get 15 to 18 points. And that's why it's so hard to guard this team, because, you talk about Luka, you talk about Jokic, even Ant in the last series, especially at the end of the games. And we talk about how it's frustrating because we go pretty ISO. At the end of basketball games, that's when it's a make or miss league, and you want your best player going ISO on whoever's in front of them.
That's the MVP time.
Yeah. So the Thunder were able to set their defense against Luka last year, which we played great against Luka. That's been well documented. We played great against Jokic. We limited him the best you could. And then Ant was frustrated, Ja as well. It's like whenever you're just...
Ja had us figured out, though.
Yeah, whatever. He can enjoy Cancun and pulling guns in every strip club in America if he wants the rest of this offseason. We were able to tee off on one player against all of those teams because that is how they were going to run their offense. And the Pacers are spreading it out so much that Halliburton's not always looking to score. He does get more aggressive at the end of games, which we've seen, and that's why he's had all these clutch shots. But It's Miles Turner launching from 3, which obviously worked tonight. He was 0 of 6 from 3 tonight. That was great.
He shot 6 threes.
Yeah.
I feel like, I guess every one of their, like, Siakam shot 6, Naismith shot 5. Wow, they all shoot about 6 or 7.
They get their again. They share the ball. Like, that's the bottom line. But the biggest key, and we haven't even talked about like the starting lineup or anything, but the biggest switch that I think Mark made that might have saved the season at the end of the game. I don't know what the score was, but we called timeout, I think, with like 3 minutes and 50 seconds left or something like that. And we went to a screen between Dub and Shea. Shea's had Nembhard on him. Nembhard has gained so much respect from me, and I think the entire league, with how well he's played in this finals on the defensive side of the ball. Naismith has played well too and guarded very well. He was the main primary assignment for the Brunson assignment last series and played amazing. Naismith has been on Dub, Nembhard on Shea. They've been switching everything. Mark had Dub start screening for Shea at the top, getting the switch, and Shea looked so much more comfortable on Naismith than he did Nembhard. And that's when Shea started getting into the mid-range. Even if he wasn't scoring, like he wasn't making his shots, Naismith couldn't guard him. He fouled out. Like that, then again, it goes back to the free throw merchant thing cracks me up because they'll say like, oh, another call for like Doris probably called him a merchant tonight. I've done a great job of tuning her out, but she probably said something of Shea getting to the line again. Here we go. And then they show the replay and it's straight arm to arm. Like Shea's just getting hammered. Yeah. And because they can't guard him. Like it's not like he's like foul baiting. It's like, no, he puts them in a position where all they can do is foul.
Because of his like core strength and balance, it's impossible to guard him because he will stop on a dime. I mean, I'm just reiterating your point, but he'll stop on a dime and then he's able to retreat and keep his core underneath him, so he's able to like shoot a good shot.
Yeah,
like the one he hit on I think it was Naismith where he like got his feet tripped up, but he was still able to like keep his feet on him, and then he hit a fall away shot that gave us our first lead of the game.
See, that I think was the biggest sequence of the game when they started doing that action. He passed out to Dub. Dub tries to drive and gets it back out. Shea hits the 3 to cut it to 1. And then we get a stop, and Shea hits that shot you were talking about where it was like borderline of travel. Borderline.
No, he slowed down. It was like he never moved his back foot. He moved his front foot, but he was able to like keep his back foot and just slide it back and hit the shot. I don't think it was a travel at all.
I'll take your word for it. I don't care. It counted. But those 2 shots, I think, are the biggest shots of Shea's career to date. Like he went out and like you have the MVP for a reason. As we talked, Dub got you there. Caruso helped. Dub and Caruso got you to a position where your best player, the best player in the league, the literal MVP, is given an opportunity to go win a game on the road, and he delivered. It is just, you couldn't draw it up better in terms of like a story. You couldn't draw it up any better if you want me to be really anxious during a game. It worked, but
that's a great recipe.
Great recipe for anxiety is what we witnessed tonight. But thank goodness we're recapping a Thunder win and not a Thunder loss. Because, again, we talked, like, it's crazy, the mirror to Denver. Game 1 does not matter now.
But sure.
Obviously, you'll see how it plays out. But now you have a best of 3 where you just have to win 2 home games at worst or steal 1 on the road, and you're an NBA champion. Like that is the bottom line. There's no like they stole like we couldn't get a game on the road and they stole 1. I mean, obviously there's a lot of basketball to get played, but it definitely takes away the sting of game 1 just a little bit. Just a little bit. Enough that I'm like, okay. Like you said, literally the Thunder mantra of it's 0-0. It is literally 0-0 now. It's 1st to 2, and you have 2 of those games at home.
Go win them.
There's very few years that you will have an opportunity as great as you have right now to win an NBA championship. And that's what they delivered tonight. So you better bring it on Friday, or excuse me, You brought it on Friday tonight. You better bring it on Monday. And we'll go from there. I mean, just an all-time win. It's a win that you circle for, like, we would talk, like, if you finish this thing off, this is the kind of win you talk about for 40 years.
Right.
Of the level of importance.
Mm-hmm. It's got to be, like, it's got to feel so good for Jalen Williams and Shea to, like, get back on the plane and be like, yes, we
just
did
take
it.
a breath.
We did it.
You get an additional day, right? Like
Right.
It's not, you get 2 days off.
And so you're like, because Chet twisted his ankle twice and got like a knee to shin, and then Jalen had that terrible fall. These guys need.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
These
Dub's
guys need
fall
these 2
was
days.
insane. Like as soon as he came down, I was like, oh my God, he's gonna break his wrist or something.
Yeah. But they, I mean, credit to them, they jumped right back up, showed no pain. They're like, we're out here. This is the NBA Finals. I'm not sitting down.
And they talked about this on the broadcast, and I actually agree with it's Richard Jefferson, not Doris. Dub
like
several
several players
times was on the floor and got fouled hard and just immediately pops up.
Right.
Like he's like, no, you're not bugging me.
right.
Like you can't guard me. And I'm going to go hit my free throws. He hit 10 of 10 tonight. I mean, when you have Dub and Shea, I don't have the stats, but I'd be fascinated to know how many times in their career, regular season or postseason, have both of them had double-digit free throws.
I think it's pretty low because
I would think that's the first one, especially in the playoffs. I think
they've had.
we might be going on this tangent right now, and it might just be like the 17th time, but it feels rare.
Let me look at game one. I feel like they've had in this series particularly. I think they've had a decent amount of free throws. Let's see. This is great podcasting. No. Jalen Williams in game 2 had 9 free throws. Shea had 12. Last game doesn't really matter. Yeah. Yeah.
Regardless, maybe if that pops up on Twitter, but it feels important, especially that they hit all of them. Chet went 6 of 6. I mean, you won this game at the free throw line. Like,
yeah.
You shot 89%.
Because you couldn't hit a 3 of 17. Makes me want to jump off a cruise ship.
Yeah. Get in the gym tomorrow. No days off. You got to pray. we got to work on getting the ball through the hole. But man, it was just a weird game. You had 2 flagrants in the first half. Caruso, like Obi Toppin's flagrant on Caruso was less egregious than the non-flagrant from game 3. Like, and then of course, after that one, Dort made a play, like a basketball play. Like it wasn't a bad foul.
It was a hard playoff foul.
But because they called the Caruso one, they had to call that one. Like as soon as you saw him hit his face, it was like, yeah.
That's going to be a flagrant.
Yeah, no. And again, if you call it even, it's fine.
Shouts out Hartenstein for going and like being like, hey, he did like Hartenstein. I don't think Hartenstein deserved a technical at all. I don't think.
No,
I thought
all he did was like touch his shoulder.
Well, I don't think there should have been any technicals.
No,
I think
it's playoffs.
I think that was just like 2 guys like, hey man, you knocked down my player. I'm going to come talk to you. I'm going to make it known that I don't like that. And then Obi Toppin pushed him away, and that's like, all right, that's playoff basketball. It kind of broke up. But it's Scott Foster, so you never know what's going to happen.
It's his time to shine.
The refs, yeah.
Chris, before we get out of here, what did you think of the change back to the regular starting lineup?
Well, it didn't really like, they didn't go back to the minutes that they usually played. Like Shea didn't play the whole first quarter. He started the second. They
were trying to get his minutes in the fourth. They were absolutely trying to rest him.
And you said Shea at one point tried to back tap McConnell, and McConnell just went right around him and shot a layup. And I was like, that's so terrible. And you texted me, you said, I'm just trying to tell
convincing myself
that he's just saving it for the fourth. And I was like, all right, convince me to do it. But hey, you were right.
It worked.
He saved it for the fourth.
It worked.
But in regards to the starting lineup, I mean, the double big is not super effective against this team. So
I think it just keeps us in the flow. Like it keeps our rotations a bit more natural and what we're used to.
Hartenstein's been a little less effective against this team. So,
but his biggest key is his screening for Shea.
Right.
like trying to create some kind of rhythm and separation. Like, I agree, the double big is not the most effective. It's not the most effective lineup we've had all year. We've always talked about how the fastball is Chet at the 5.
Right.
You know, like that's the Thunder's best lineup, and that's non-negotiable. Like, it is far and away the Thunder's best lineup.
Yeah, but the best pitchers don't just throw fastballs.
Correct.
Or they start to key off of it like it feels the Pacers have.
Yeah. I think, like, let's see, what did Hartenstein played 21 minutes? I think that's a great number for him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the last time this happened, but Chet played more minutes than Dub tonight. He played 37. Dub played 35. I mean, usually it's Dub second in minutes on this team, but
Dort played 36.
Dort played 32.
Oh, I have ESPN is telling me totally different numbers than what you have.
This is the NBA.com box score. I don't know. Yeah. We might need to fact check that. But again, wrapping up, looking at the line, I think you stick with the double big in Oklahoma City, just because the team, even though all we've talked about how this team has been uneasy, it didn't look like ourselves. I don't think that was because of rotations. Like I felt, and this is Mark's going to do what he's going to do, and usually it works. So I don't want to doubt him too much. But it felt like we looked more like ourselves with the double big starting.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's going to win or lose us a game. But Kaysen hasn't been good this series. Bottom line.
That's another thing. Kaysen has been disappointed, and I hate that for him. I think Kaysen is. I think he's going
to be amazing.
I think he's going to have a super long career and affect winning basketball and be a great player. But in this series, you can see, I think his youth has really shown, and like some of the turnovers he's had. I think in game 3, didn't he do 2 of the inbounds?
He had
turnovers?
2 of the McConnell. Yeah. He has not hit a 3 this entire series.
Yeah, it's just he's not played well. And I thought maybe that like elbow extended jumper might get him going. But then he didn't get another shot. So
that was a good looking shot. It was a shot that I looked at Alex, who I was watching with, and was like, that was the shot that it's like, no, this shot sucks and it's going to go in. Like, it was just a bad shot. And there's always 1 or 2 a game that don't make sense. But yeah, if he could hit threes, if he was shooting at 40%, he hit big threes last year against Dallas. He's hit threes in the playoffs this year. If you could get 2 threes from him and 2 threes from Wiggins and Joe, or, 4 between the 3 of them, it's hard to beat this team, but none of them are shooting well. And so that's going to be a huge key.
We're not even shooting that much. I'd like to see us get more than whatever, 20.
16 threes.
Oh, you know why I'm looking at different minutes?
Because you're looking at
game 3.
I was like, that's crazy. That'd be opposite. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, major key on Monday night will be how we shoot at Paycom. We're going to need to hit shots. The Pacers aren't going to wilt. They're going to feel like they let one slip. They have not lost back-to-back games this entire postseason.
But we have to win a back-to-back game. Like, it's the
biggest game in Thunder history. Monday night.
Win.
What do you always say? The most important game is the next one, and that's game 5. That's game 5. Monday night. I think it's at 7:30 again.
Be there.
Be there if you have a lot of money, because ticket prices are stupid.
Yes. Grace was talking about someone in our sections trying to sell tickets for $7,400 a ticket.
Yeah, that's whatever. That's criminal.
I was like, no way. But she said,
they're not going to get that.
She said, luckily, there doesn't seem to be a lot of tickets selling. I think people who have
want to go to the game
want to go.
Yeah.
So I'll be there. Cheer it on. Yell, trying to will these boys to another win.
I'm hoping Monday night's podcast is the most hoarse I have been all season. All season. That's the hope. And that
you got a long face, so.
Exactly. With that, we're going to wrap it up. Huge win for the Thunder in game 4 in a manner that we did not anticipate this recap being this positive about 2.5 hours ago.
Well, the thing is, they have to play better in game 5. They did not play extremely well. You know how Halliburton came off the floor after game 1 and was like, we didn't even play well. Let's go get another one. Well, the Thunder feel
that's truly how it is.
That's how the Thunder feel right now, too. And so you got it. And I feel like this gives us momentum going into game 5. You know, it regardless of how they feel like they let one slip, you know, we won the game. And you feel like that momentum can keep building. Keep shoveling the coal, Alex Caruso. Keep getting that engine turned up so that we, the Thunder, can have a parade. And you feel like that momentum's coming home with us. I do. You know.
It's how it feels. It's how I felt in the Denver series. Like after you stole Game 4, it was like, oh, Paycom's gonna bring it. And I tell you this, I'm bringing it. Boys don't have to worry about me bringing it Monday night. I'll be there.
No. I'm bringing it too. I'm
Vocal
bringing
rest
it
starts as soon as this podcast ends.
Ben's not saying a word till Monday.
Sign language, baby.
Yeah.
But appreciate everybody for listening. Tell a friend to listen. This is way more fun than the last podcast. This is the one you should tell your friends about. But appreciate everybody. We'll be back Monday night to recap Game 5 of the NBA Finals. It's 2-2. This is exciting. This is exciting. And we'll be here to hopefully recap the Thunder getting it done. But appreciate everybody, and we'll talk to you again Monday. See you.
All night long, party, party, we like to party, 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 all night long. Party, party, we like to party, 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 never go home. Party, party, we like to party, 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 all night long. Party, party, we like to party.